Listen closely. I'm going to tell you something that will completely change how you see every argument, every sigh, and every complaint you've ever heard from a woman. You know the phrase. Every married man knows it. Nothing I do is ever good enough. You bring her flowers wrong color. You plan a date wrong place. You work hard to provide you're never home. You spend time at home you're not ambitious enough. It's exhausting because no matter what you do, it's somehow always wrong. And after a while, you start wondering, is it me? Am I the problem? Why does she always seem so dissatisfied? The truth is, you've been trying to fill a hole in your relationship. But that hole isn't in the relationship. It's in the person. You've been trying to fill a bucket with no bottom. Here's the truth most men never hear. Chronic unhappiness isn't something a man can fix. It's not caused by your effort, your tone, or your love. It's an internal pre-existing condition, a storm that was brewing long before you showed up. Psychology shows us this unhappiness comes from a mix of three major forces: genetics, childhood wounds, and impossible modern fantasies. Let's start with genetics. Some people, men and women, are simply wired with a negativity bias. Their brain chemistry leans toward seeing what's wrong instead of what's right. So, even in good moments, they focus on the flaw. Even when things are peaceful, they find what's missing. And if that's her baseline wiring, no amount of love or reassurance can permanently rewrite it. Then comes the childhood script. Many unhappy women grew up with what psychologists call the father wound. If her father was absent, cold, or disappointing, she internalized a belief: men will always fail me. So when she becomes an adult, she either picks men who will disappoint her, or she sets the bar so high that even a good man eventually fails her test. Then there's the mother script. She watched her mother chronically complain about her father, about the house, about her life, and without realizing it, she absorbed that pattern. To her, that's what being a woman or being in a relationship feels like: familiar, even if it's miserable. So when she finally meets a man who brings peace and stability, her subconscious doesn't recognize it as love. It feels boring because dysfunction feels like home. But the biggest modern force is what I call the fantasy versus reality gap. Modern women were sold a fantasy. Disney movies, romantic comedies, TikTok highlight reels, they all promise a life of constant excitement, grand gestures, and a partner who fills every emotional void. But then, reality happens. Bills, work, routines, and a partner who's human, not a movie script. The gap between that fantasy and her real life becomes a constant source of pain. When she feels empty, she doesn't blame the fantasy. She blames you. You're not romantic enough. You don't make me feel special anymore. You've changed, but nothing really changed, except her expectations. That's the moving target phenomenon. The goalpost always moves, because the dissatisfaction isn't about the target. It's about the archer. There's another pattern too, the devaluation mechanism. The moment something becomes hers, it loses value. The stability she once craved becomes boring. The man she couldn't live without becomes the man she barely tolerates. It's not that you changed, it's that her perception did, and social media pours gasoline on that fire. Every scroll through Instagram shows her someone else's perfect vacation, their luxury gifts, their filtered smiles. She doesn't compare her real life to their real life. She compares her reality to their performance, and in that comparison, she always loses. She feels cheated, unlucky, like she deserves more. That quiet resentment becomes a habit, and it poisons everything. For some women, unhappiness becomes more than a mood. It becomes an identity. It's how they connect with other women. It's how they get attention. It's how they avoid responsibility, because if she's unhappy, then it's always someone else's fault. And happiness, real happiness, would require her to look inward, to heal, to take responsibility. And that's terrifying. So she clings to what she knows: complaint, chaos, and constant dissatisfaction. And here's the part that hurts. Good men, men who genuinely love and try, spend years walking on eggshells, giving everything they have, trying to fix what they never broke. They sacrifice their joy, their peace, their identity, just to earn a smile that never lasts. They think, if I just try harder, if I just love her more, maybe she'll finally be happy. But she won't, because she can't. Not until she decides to heal herself. Here's the hard truth and the freedom. You cannot make an unhappy woman happy. Your love can inspire her, but it cannot cure her. Only she can do that work. Only she can face the pain inside and rebuild from within. So stop trying to fix what you didn't break. Stop pouring yourself into a bottomless bucket. Turn that energy back to yourself, your purpose, your peace, your strength. Because the moment you stop trying to fix her, you finally start to heal yourself. If this hit home for you, share it with a man who needs to hear it. And remember, you can't save someone who refuses to swim. Focus on your peace. That's where your power begins.